Welcome back to CNBC TV 18. We are in conversation with Talin Kumar, the CEO and MD of Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor Development Corporation. DMIC has a trust which has around 17,500 crore. That's a revolving fund. Are there any plans to leverage this to raise more funds from the market in the future?
Well, I don't have plans immediately, but the institutional financial structure that was approved by the cabinet on 15th of September 2011 does have this structure built in, does have this facility built in, that this DMIC trust fund could leverage its corpus to raise resources from other institutions, multilateral institutions and other financial institutions.
Right.
So it does have this structure built into it.
And do you believe it will be required as you go ahead and build more and more of these smart cities?
I think it will be required because this is the initial, like a seed corpus.
Right.
But as we go along, we need a lot of funds, long-term funds for infrastructure, and mainly through debt. 70% of it roughly has to be debt.
Okay.
And that too in rupee loans. So that we don't have to worry about
foreign
hedging exchange rate risk and interest rate risks.
Right.
So that would be a primary requirement as we move along.
Right. Let's now talk about, you'll be developing the trunk infrastructure, a quick supplementary. For the initial development that you'll be doing for those 5 cities, you'll be requiring, by your own estimates, around 10 to 15,000 crores?
We can add it up for Dhulera. First phase 22.5 square kilometers,
right,
4,400 crores.
Right.
40 square kilometers of Chandra,
right,
somewhere between 5,000 to 6,000 crores.
Right.
So roughly you can say 9,000, 10,000 crores in these two cities. And then in Vikram Udyog Puri, 300 to 400 crores.
Right.
In the integrated industrial township at Greater Noida, somewhere about 1,200 crores. The first phase is 617 crores. And in Global City in Gurgaon, I can't say because we are in the process of master planning. The master planning will be over in March 2015.
Right.
So anyway, the requirement from that will get added. So you can add up the figures.
So how much investments do you expect in all these cities as you embark on this phased development of the smart cities? For just these 5 cities, what kind of investments are we expecting?
So the quality of project development is such that I believe that the money that is spent by the Government of India in trunk infrastructure will allow itself to be leveraged multiple times. I'll not like to put a figure because it will create a lot of debate and controversy, but I just want to say that for example, in integrated industrial township at Greater Noida, we have our studies and estimates show that 1,200 crore worth of investment in trunk infrastructure will lead to 33,000 crore worth of PPP projects. So that is the kind of leveraging that is going to happen.
So 1,200 crore from your side will lead to
33,000 crores of investment in PPA-able trunk infrastructure. That's 3x. No, not 3. 3 will be only 3,600. So 30 times.
30x.
You can say, so it's about little less than 30 times. So that is the kind of leveraging that is going to happen. But I hate to generalize across cities because it depends on the characteristic of these cities.
Right.
But that is why I said that it will be leveraged multiple times.
Right. So have prospective investors talked to you regarding this? We understand that the Japanese companies actually may have a priority entry into all these smart cities and the corridor. So
this is a partnership project with the government of Japan, but all the projects that are developed by using resources from government of India will have to be bid out.
Right.
So we will develop projects, we'll structure them, we'll bid out to the to the investors, and all of these will be international competitive biddings.
Okay.
So investors.
When will this start? For once you are ready with the trunk infrastructure, and
I think first of all we have to lay down the trunk infrastructure. So anywhere between 3 to 4 years from now, we should be able to come up with PPA-able projects.
Right.
For these first phase of these smart cities.
Right.
So it has generated a lot of interest among investors. I remember in July 2012 when we had gone to Singapore, and I remember that all the 35 top CEOs from Singapore had joined. Similarly, the long-term pension funds from Canada are interested.
Right.
Long-term pension funds in Australia have shown interest.
Right.
You know, the investors from Germany and German companies have shown interest.
Right.
So DMIC project has generated a lot of interest across the world. And I have been talking to a lot of private equity investors.
So PE guys are interested in...
They are all interested. They are looking at projects. They are looking at how we are developing them. They are looking at the timelines. They are looking very closely at this project.
Any confirmations? I mean, I know it's a very initial stage.
It's early stages, but the amount of interest is an indicator that there is surely a large number of investors would be interested.
So will you need roadshows for this?
I don't want to say that I don't need roadshows, but the amount of interest is sufficiently high.
Right. So you are satisfied with the interest that...
I am quite satisfied with the amount of interest that is shown in the DMIC project.
Let's now discuss, as we conclude this interview, about the process of building industrial corridors in India itself. DMIC, of course, has been the pioneer, and you guys have been working for the past 5 to 8 years on this. Meanwhile, the government has also gone ahead and is talking about 4 more industrial corridors, be it Delhi-Calcutta industrial corridor or the industrial corridor between Bombay and Bangalore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, there will be a separate agency which will oversee the development of those corridors. So, have you shared your experience in developing and designing the DMIC with
Yes, we have. In fact, DMIC is assisting in the perspective plan for the Bengaluru-Mumbai economic corridor already. DMIC has already given inputs for the Chennai-Bengaluru industrial corridor. DMIC is already preparing a bid document for selection of a consultant for preparation of the perspective plan for the Amritsar-Kolkata industrial corridor. So the DMIC will be happy to provide its technical expertise to all these industrial corridors. And in fact, the Government of India has already decided to set up a National Industrial Corridor Development Authority, which will house all these corridors. The reason behind this is very simple, that the learnings and the experience of DMIC project, of project development, of project structuring, of project execution, of project implementation, all that can be transferred to the other corridors, and they don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Mr. Talleen Kumar, it was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for joining us.